This is Mir Ayub Ali Khan. Today I have a wonderful guest with me, Mr. Khaled Al Maeena. Khaled Al Maeena is a personality which is not restricted to his native country, which is Saudi Arabia, but he is known across the world for his writings, for his enterprising attitude and for his boldness. The way he has conducted interviews and written about people, major people, and he has been accepted as one of the topmost intellectuals from the kingdom and from the Arab world. Now, Khaled Al Maeena Sahab, I am here. I had come to perform Umrah, but I requested Khaled Saheb to spare some time for the siyasat.com. He has accepted. Khaled Saheb, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया आपका. Thank you so much. Let me tell you one more thing. Khaled Saheb is a multilingual. The way he speaks Urdu language, you will not be able to figure out whether he is originally Urdu speaking or he is an Arabic Urdu speaking person. The kind of words he uses, the kind of phrases he uses is amazing. So dosto, before I move on to anything else, I'll give you one small impression of my own visit to Saudi Arabia. The day I landed in the kingdom, I was amazed. I had been fed on the stories that Saudi Arabia is on the threshold of a revolution where there is no parda, there is no hijab, there is nothing, and people are mixing up, mingling up and all that. But when I went to a mall to see this, I was surprised. Every woman which I have seen was wearing a burqa. Maybe not covering face, but I have seen the girls who are selling in between the lane which is laid down for selling small things. Those girls were wearing hijab. But the other public was 98% was without hijab. And I have also seen women who are walking without an abaya on their head. That is very few, but it is there. So this is the new Saudi Arabia which I am witnessing after 26 years is an amazing example how the transition can take place without disturbing the social system. Khaled Saheb, बेहद शुक्रिया आपका. Very thank you that you have accepted my request to you. Would you mind telling me how this started and what are the repercussions of this openness?
Well, you have seen the new Saudi Arabia. The new Saudi Arabia is a continuation of the old Saudi Arabia, the reforms that were taking place ever since King Abdul Aziz, God rest his soul, united the country. I believe that what has happened in the time of the Crown Prince, Mohammed bin Salman, is itself something that is mind-boggling. What you saw, women at the airport, people now working as baristas, the women who you have seen yourself.
Yes, I have.
People doing shop ladies and all. I think this is the natural Saudi Arabia. When the Crown Prince came, I think the first realization in his mind was that 50% of our population are young and a lot of them are females. How do we include them in the economic setup of this country? It was a challenge. They were educated, there were jobs, but right now they're in all fields, from bankers to people working on planes, ambassadors, diplomats in all fields. So I think this was the right thing to do because there is talent. A nation that deprives 50% of its population out of work is a nation that is going to be doomed.
Doomed, yeah. Okay.
And this is what I think the prime focus of the Congress was, and what you see. Now people said, oh, you have become, it's coming out and maybe you become westernized. I said, no. What we want in Saudi Arabia is that we should modernize.
So how would you differentiate between westernization and modernization?
It's a thin line. I mean, do we ape the West? Do we copy the West? Do we believe that for us to modernize we should go on a dancing spree or do things? No. We have our own values, we have our own culture, we have our own ideology, and we have our subcultures in Saudi Arabia. These are part of the total Islamic culture. So I think by modernization, what the Crown Prince himself said was we have to have key goals. The Vision 2030, which is very well crafted both in Arabic and English, focuses on KPIs, key performance indicators, good governance, an attack on corruption, things that are also within the spirit of the Islamic fold. So that for us is to modernize. You see, these are the things that I would like to focus on.
So when we talk about corruption, has it come down or what is the situation right now?
Corruption will exist on earth as long as man exists or humanity exists. But I think what has happened here, the so many features that happened, the events that took place, the plans that were unfolded and implemented. So corruption by and large has gone down a lot. It has been contained, it has been modified, and the word is out that if you get out of line and take things that do not belong to you or encroach upon government property, you will have to pay the price. Okay. So I truly believe that what has happened in the past 3 or 4 years has sounded a warning bell to those who would try to diverge from this path of progress.
So there is one more way of saying it. May I say that the wealth in Saudi Arabia was concentrated in the hands of few families or few people, and now it has come out and being distributed among the needy, among the people, among the graduates who are increasing in number?
Yes, it does not mean that the wealth of the people, and many of them earn their wealth.
Yeah.
We cannot just generalize. But I think, yes, so many of the things that were done before, like land grabbing, like taking things, all these things are of the past now. I think there are more chances, the ability to do things, the ability to go forward, to participate. Young people are now everywhere. And I tell you frankly, and I'm always, alhamdulillah, been known to speak my mind, I have never seen such a buzz in Saudi Arabia with young people picking up their cudgel and trying to go ahead and do things.
Oh, yes. So you have been the editor and a journalist for almost all your life, active life. What changes have been taken? What changes have taken place in journalism, in reporting matters, and is there any restriction?
Well, I think you see, journalism, as we all know, the old style of sober, stable journalism is now no more.
Okay.
With technology, everybody is becoming a journalist. Unfortunately, there is fake news. There are people who are not professional have taken in. Journalism is more through computers and telephones and all. And now AI has come in, so somebody writes a report totally based on AI. So then another thing comes up where are the copyrights? So it's before, and I don't want us to go back to the newspaper or the paper fold, is that when you read something, you're responsible for it. Now people can say something now and then they delete it. So I believe that the journalists of before were much more sober, were much more responsible, and had their eye on the pulse.
Yeah. So you have seen the transition of two major newspapers, rather three major newspapers, Arab News, Saudi Gazette. In fact, you have headed these newspapers, and also Al-Bilad. What difference do you see in their approach to news, and what is happening there?
I think nowadays the focus more is on the economy and also feature stories. It's very important, and what is happening. The mode of thought of people has changed. the values have changed. So something about a boxing match or some kind of concert will garner more readers than an event happening somewhere. And then also the journalists who were professional journalists, like there were people who were mainly focusing on the energy sector and the environmental sector and all. Now everybody writes on everything. To me, that is a bit off mark, because we need to have subject matter experts in journalism also.
That's true. That's true. So, how do you look at the people who have been taken off their main roles in the economy? Have such a thing happened?
Well, I mean, look, there are, for every time there are peoples, there are people who will come in. I think also age is a barrier. The people who were there before. When you talk of the Dr. Khaled Sahebs and the Zaki Amanis and other people, they were there in their prime, they were there, but they've all gone. I mean, time is not only a healing factor, but time can be very cruel.
Yeah.
You need new faces, you need actors, and believe me, this nation does not lack talent. And I think what has been done now is to give these people a chance. The way they're behaving, I mean, for us to go in the World Cup and in the first match beat Argentina.
That was amazing.
Amazing, and really done. For us to go to the women participating in the Olympics, women soprano, women men actors, so on the world stage. And I always tell myself and my friends, where were these people before?
Oh.
I think what the Crown Prince has done is unleashed a force, a positive energy force, allowing these people to come.
Which was raring to come out.
Yes. Remember, we are a patriarchal society, where the orders come from up to down, from the father to the... We are also a tribal society in many areas across the kingdom, where the writ of the tribal leader, but now things are moved out. The old may be listened to, and I would like our young people to pay full concern and full respect to the old, but I think we want new ideas. We want a new vision that will go on, and we want young people to be more, forceful in the development of this country.
So let me shift to the international relations of Saudi Arabia. What is happening in Palestine and how Saudi Arabia is responding?
Saudi Arabia's foreign policy has always been a behind-the-scenes foreign policy, and you have been here. They are doing things, the idea of moving ahead using the Arab League, the OIC and others. But this Gaza issue, and lately also the Lebanese, has gone totally out of control for the reason that Israel has begun to take action knowing it has the blessings, quote unquote, by commission or omission of the Western world, that there cannot be a UN resolution that vetoes anything. They know that they have people in their pockets, as we have seen when Netanyahu went and Congress stood up, members about 50 times or 54 times for him, and so they know that and they can get away. I think a concerted plan is necessary to contain this.
Yeah. So the other thing is, how do you look at the relations of Saudi Arabia with the neighboring countries? You have a problem with the Houthis, you have a problem at some other border with some other people. Is it, how is it? Is it manageable? Is it okay? Or somebody is instigating other forces to take on Saudi Arabia and destabilize it?
You see, destabilization will only come from within. And it cannot come because if the people are with the government, when the people know that they can get up in the morning and they go to office and there are no bombs, and the people know that there is stability, there's security, there's prosperity, I don't think so anybody would be a fool enough to listen from people from outside. Now, yes, the Yemen issue with the Houthis have to come and sit across the table from their partners in Yemen. As far as other countries are concerned, we hope and pray that Iraq will be stable. Iraq is a country that has all the potential to be a good, strong economy. And for Saudi Arabia, and let us not listen to all these wild allegations that go on outside. Saudi Arabia, stable countries and stable neighbors are a boon for us.
Of course.
So it is in the interest of Saudi Arabia to have countries so there will be no spillover from there in terms of refugees and in terms of other economic aspects of life.
How are our relations, Saudi Arabia's relations with Syria and Lebanon on that side?
Well, there have been, there's an ambassador, recently also diplomatic representations were raised in Damascus, in other countries. So, as I said earlier, it is in the interest of Saudi Arabia to have the stability and security and the economic prosperity of all these countries. But then they have to act. The Yemenis have to deal with each other, the Syrians have to deal with each other, the Iraqis have to form their own coalition to work on. It's not our job to go on there and advise them or do something. But it's in our interest and their interest primarily to see to it that they get their act together.
Sir, how are you looking at the changes in India? India is a growing economy, it's a wonderful power within the region, and it is claiming for still higher positions. And how do you look at India? What is your understanding of India?
Well, as somebody who has respect for India and like it, I think the Indians have to also do some deep soul searching, whether they want the India of Gandhian values and Nehruvian principles and want a secular India that belongs to everyone. The beauty of India lies in its diversity. From Banaras to Kerala, from Bengal to up in the mountain states, I think diversity, the communities, the languages and all. As for India, a middle-of-the-road policy would be a policy that would be great. India has many neighbors too, like Saudi Arabia, and it is also in the interest of India to see that their neighbors are not a bit suspicious of them or wary of them, and this is very important.
Yeah. Sir, you have been, the Saudi government has honored Mr. Modi for lots of things, and you look at India and Saudi Arabia relations growing, or do you have any reservations about it?
I think economic relations are going on.
Okay.
Yes, for years, I mean, India and Saudi Arabia were friendly, but there was not much of exchanges, cultural or touristic exchanges, but right now they are being done. I think the young people also have discovered India because India has gone ahead in the IT field. So that is like a flag for the Saudis. And good economics makes good politics.
Yeah,
so
sure.
the more we economically we get in touch and form a strong platform or base, the more the road will be paved for us to have better relations.
Sir, Indians have chosen to be guest workers in Saudi Arabia since 1970s. What is your perspective of the Indian workers in Saudi Arabia? Have they contributed? Are they valuable? Or what is their, what do you think of them?
You see, I always say this, and I've said it before, that the contribution of the expatriates and the expatriate workers to Saudi Arabia is one of the causes of our development. We cannot deny, we cannot say Indian doctors, Indian workers, Indian nurses, they have contributed. This is the nature of progress. This is the way things get done. And I think they've done a great job, Indian workers, and I think they will continue to do a great job because you rarely find any problem with the Indian workers community. They're mainly based on working, they're hardworking, they're diligent, they're honest. So I don't think so we have any problems with that.
Do you think the numbers will increase or the numbers will continue to go down as Saudi Arabia grows up?
I think now with high tech, you don't need as many blue collar workers as before.
Okay, yeah.
Now, I went to a factory in Yumbo the other day, and the whole machines that were there, there were only about 8 to 10 people working. They were all robots working there. And this was making oil, cooking oil. Before, 4 or 5 years, there were 300 people there.
Oh.
But now there are only about 10.
Yeah.
So I don't think so they will come. Because blue workers, road diggers and all, because before you take 20 people, now you take 2 on a very high computerized tractor or shovel or something like that.
So my last question would be your message to the Indian workers and the expatriates here who are 6 million or 8 million. So what do you expect and what do you want from them, and how long do you think that they would stay here?
Well, I'm not a pundit, but
okay.
I think.
But you are a political pundit, social
yes.
pundit.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that they will stay here as long as the need for them to stay is there. As long as the projects come, we are on the verge of another industrialization campaign. Things are coming up, factories are being built, industry, but more and more also on the high scale and computerized artificial intelligence. So these people will be replaced by those people from India or elsewhere. So there will be a strong need for people in finance, banking, the economy, yes, qualified people. As far as my message to them, as I think is now the government has, opened so many avenues for them to relay their grievances, to relay whatever happens to them. And previously it was difficult, but now the ministries also and chambers of commerce and all do welcome any complaints, anything, yes.
Okay.
The problem is that these people think that, to complain will put them in trouble. On the contrary, the Ministry of Social Affairs, the others, the companies, the Imaras and all, I think Saudi Arabia has changed a lot and everything is there on, go to Upshare, they have their own Upshare, go on your TV screen and get your message across. This is a revolution in Saudi Arabia, that way you can get your point of view across to the concerned authorities in a matter of seconds.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
This is very important. And the other thing is, I'll revert back to your first question when you said you saw the women and all that. The thing that people don't realize, that Saudi Arabia is probably the safest place in the world. It is the safest, where women can go unaccosted, unharmed. There are no rape cases, there's no kidnapping. You can go from one end to the other. And when driving happened, a lot of the cynics, even in some of the papers in your country, said, oh, this will happen, that. I know of women who go from Jeddah to Medina, women who go from Jeddah to Riyadh by road and come back. This is part of our culture. And also at the same time, the rules and regulations, the laws are such that women are protected. So I think this is something that people don't realize, because I see a lot of criticism on Twitter and all about Saudi women. No, Saudi women are equal. They get the same, by the way, Saudi woman has been getting the same salary as the man in the government and all, many, many years ago.
Yeah,
right now she is being propped up, not because she's a woman. It's not cosmetic changes. These are real, hard fact changes that people should know. That the Saudi woman is respected, she's protected, she's admired, and she's promoted.
That's wonderful. Sir Khaled, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
And Siyasat.com thanks you. Mir Ayyub Ali Khan thanks you from his heart. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.